Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The story of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2p coin from 1993 begins far earlier than the year stamped on its bronze surface. To understand why this particular coin has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, we must step back in time, into the long and layered history of British coinage, a legacy woven through centuries of monarchs, mints, and quiet revolutions in design. The 1993 2p coin is more than a small copper-colored disc. It is a piece of a greater story, a tiny witness to an era of transition, and a rare artifact whose value has soared beyond anything its creators could have imagined. The tale begins in 1971, when Britain underwent Decimal Day, a sweeping transformation of its currency system. Before this moment, British coins were part of a complex monetary structure dating back hundreds of years. The introduction of the decimal system simplified everything. £1 equaled 100 new pence. With this modernization came the birth of the new 2p coin, first issued in 1971 under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin was intended to be a simple, common piece of pocket change, nothing more, nothing remarkable. No one in Britain could have guessed that decades later, a specific year like 1993 would become the subject of feverish searches, intense collector demand, and astonishing valuations. To understand why the 1993 2p coin stands out, we must look closely at Queen Elizabeth II's role in shaping modern British currency. As the longest reigning monarch in British history at the time, her portrait graced countless coins across generations. The 1993 2p coin features the third definitive portrait of Her Majesty, crafted by designer Raphael Maklauf. This portrait, introduced in 1985, was elegant and more regal than its predecessors. Maklauf believed that the Queen should appear serene, timeless, and majestic, qualities he captured in a portrait that remained iconic for years. Her profile faces right, as tradition dictates, adorned with the George IV state diadem, a fitting symbol of her enduring reign. The reverse of the 1993 2p coin features the badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet. This emblem carries a long and storied history, dating back to the 14th century. Its Latin motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, has become symbolic of loyalty and honor. On the 2p coin, this historic emblem is presented with fine detail, surrounded by the words 2p, which would remain on the coin until later design adjustments introduced the segmented shield series. For many collectors, the early 2p design holds nostalgic value, as it represents a classic era of British coinage before modern redesigns reshaped the Royal Mint's artistic direction. In 1992, an important change occurred. The Royal Mint moved the production of circulating coins from bronze alloy to copper-plated steel. This change was subtle but significant. Rising metal prices forced the Mint to search for more cost-effective alternatives, and copper-plated steel became the new standard. The 1993 2p coins would be part of this transitional era, making them instantly distinctive to collectors who can recognize the slight difference in color and magnetic properties. The steel composition means the coin is attracted to magnets, unlike earlier copper-based versions. This difference forms part of the intrigue surrounding the 1993 issue, but the story goes deeper. Although millions of 2p coins were struck every year, collector fascination with specific dates often arises not from quantity but from rarity within condition, minting anomalies, historical context, or errors, sometimes even from unexpected production decisions at the Royal Mint. The year 1993 marked a unique moment. While the Royal Mint produced 2p coins for sets and special issues, circulating strikes were limited, leading to unusual scarcity in pristine condition. Many of the coins that did enter circulation were heavily handled, making high-grade specimens incredibly difficult to find today. This becomes even more compelling when considering the collector market's obsession with condition, where even small blemishes can drastically reduce value. Imagine holding a flawless 1993 2p coin under magnification. The fields around the Queen's portrait are smooth and glowing, reflecting light as if newly struck. The edges are crisp, unmarred by circulation. The feathers and coronet on the reverse appear as though the engraver just finished them minutes ago, each line sharp and defined. Finding a coin like this is rare, extremely rare. Collectors around the world pursue such uncirculated examples with fervor, bidding aggressively in auctions and driving prices ever higher. Now consider another layer of mystery that fuels the passion for the 1993 coin: the presence of minting errors. Error coins hold a special place in numismatics. Whether it's a double strike, die crack, off-center strike, broad strike, or wrong planchet error, mistakes during minting can turn ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures worth thousands or even millions. Though documented 1993 2-pence error coins are infrequently encountered, when they do appear, they become the center of attention. Some collectors believe that the shift from bronze to steel alloy during the early 1990s caused transitional issues at the mint, potentially allowing unexpected planchet or die anomalies to slip into circulation. Even the possibility of such an error is enough to turn the 1993 2-pence into a hotly searched coin, especially across platforms like YouTube, where treasure hunters hope to discover overlooked riches in their spare change. The Royal Mint's meticulous attention to detail in producing coins means that error coins are rarely deliberate, but when they occur, they are highly coveted. This adds to the 1993 2-pence coin's mystique, as collectors scour every corner of the United Kingdom searching for rare specimens, examining every 2-pence coin in hopes of uncovering a hidden minting mistake. People have found incredible rarities in the most unexpected places: coin jars in old houses, wallets forgotten in drawers, and even loose change received in everyday transactions. Stories like these inspire a sense of adventure, a belief that treasure might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to discover it. Beyond errors and alloy changes, the 1993 2-pence coin carries a deeper significance. It represents a stable period under Queen Elizabeth II's reign, a time before the major modern redesigns that would transform the appearance of UK coinage in 2008. It belongs to an era of traditional coin design, one cherished by collectors who feel a sentimental attachment to the coins of their childhood. Its simple, unfussy design captures a timeless aesthetic that many feel resonates more strongly than the contemporary shield design used today. Collectors also point to the shrinking availability of high-quality older coins as a factor in the 1993 coin's soaring popularity. Coins from the 1990s were used heavily in everyday life, passed through countless hands, left in pockets, washed in machines, dropped on pavements, and stored in piggy banks. Very few people saved coins from this era immediately after release, and even fewer preserved them in protective conditions suitable for long-term collectors. As a result, finding a 1993 2-pence coin with flawless luster and zero circulation marks is astonishingly difficult. The number of pristine examples grows smaller each year, making them increasingly valuable. One of the most captivating aspects of this coin is the way it has captured global interest, not just in the UK but also among international collectors who admire British history, culture, and royal symbolism. Queen Elizabeth II is one of the most recognizable monarchs in modern history, and her presence on coins adds prestige and emotional value. Top 2. Today, the spotlight turns to one remarkable piece, an unassuming yet deeply fascinating 2002 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin. As we explore its origins, its design, the political and cultural atmosphere surrounding its creation, and the reasons collectors around the world are now hunting for specific rare variations from that year, you'll discover why a small copper-plated steel coin from 2002 has become a treasure sought by dedicated numismatists and ultimately valued at an unbelievable $19 million. The journey begins in the early 2000s, a period of transition for the United Kingdom. Queen Elizabeth II had already sat upon the throne for half a century, guiding her nation through turbulent decades of war recovery, technological advancement, and sweeping social change. The year 2002 was particularly symbolic, marked as the Queen's Golden Jubilee, celebrating 50 years of her reign. It was a year of national pride, reflection, and celebration, with events stretching across the Commonwealth. For coin collectors, Jubilee years often hold special intrigue, as the Royal Mint tends to mark such moments with unique issues, adjustments, or commemorative minting details. While the 2p coin did not receive a new design for the Jubilee, the mintage from this year nevertheless carries a historical aura, as it stands forever tied to a landmark moment in modern British monarchy. To understand the significance of the 2002 2p coin, one must first appreciate the long lineage of the denomination. Introduced in 1971 during the historic decimalization of British currency, the 2p coin represented more than a numerical value. It marked modernization, efficiency, and a break from centuries of traditional coinage. The early 2p coins were struck in bronze, giving them a warm copper glow and significant weight. For the first 3 decades of their existence, all UK 2p coins were composed of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. But economic realities often drive subtle yet impactful changes in coin production. And by 1992, the rising cost of copper forced the Royal Mint to shift the composition from bronze to copper-plated steel. This seemingly small change had enormous consequences for future collectors. Steel-based coins behave differently over time. They react differently to the elements, wear differently in circulation, and can even be tested by magnets, whereas the older bronze coins cannot. This transition is one of the reasons why collectors examine post-1992 2p coins with heightened interest. And the 2002 issue, while part of the steel era, carries some intriguing characteristics and rare variations that place it high on the radar of experts. When you hold a 2002 2p coin, the first thing you notice is the obverse, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this effigy was bold, realistic, and highly detailed, depicting the Queen with a dignified presence and unmistakable maturity. Unlike previous portraits that aimed for a softer, idealized look, Rank Broadley's design embraced realism, aging, and regal confidence. His initials, IRB, rest subtly below the portrait. The inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, wraps around the rim, standing for De Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This obverse, used consistently across circulating UK coins at the time, has become iconic in its own right, recognizable instantly even by those who do not study coins. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design by Christopher Ironside, the legendary designer responsible for multiple decimal coin motifs. For the 2p coin, Ironside celebrated British heraldry with the depiction of the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the motto, Ich diene, German for I serve. This badge represents centuries of tradition and is closely tied to the Prince of Wales, a title long held by the heir to the British throne. The words, 2p, arch across the top, while the date, 2002, rests neatly below the central emblem. The coin is symmetrical, classic, and steeped in the symbolism of British monarchy. Even a non-collector holding this coin may sense its historical dignity. Understanding the design, however, is only step 1. What truly elevates the 2002 2p coin into the realm of sought-after treasures are the unexpected variations, minting quirks, and unique conditions in which certain examples exist. This is where numismatics becomes part science, part history, and part detective work. While millions of 2p coins were minted for circulation in 2002, ensuring that most are extremely common and easily found, collectors have identified certain rare features that push specific specimens into extraordinary value territory. One of the most interesting details relates to die alignment and minting precision. During high-volume production, even the Royal Mint occasionally encounters minor faults. A tiny misalignment between obverse and reverse dies, a slight double strike, or faint die cracks can turn an ordinary coin into a collectible phenomenon. Most people will never notice such things. But experienced collectors with magnifying tools, patience, and expertise know exactly where to look. Another factor that affects rarity is the existence of proof coins. In 2002, the Royal Mint produced proof sets for collectors, and these included 2p coins struck with superior quality dies, polished surfaces, and razor-sharp details. These specimens are far rarer than circulation strikes, and when preserved in pristine condition, they can command serious attention. But beyond proofs, there is always the tantalizing possibility of meal errors, coins struck with mismatched dies. While no widely confirmed new version of the 2002 2p has been officially documented, the theory alone fuels excitement, especially since such meals have occurred in other years of UK 2p production. Collectors often search tirelessly, examining thousands of coins, hoping for the jackpot discovery. Preservation plays another critical role. Because 2p coins circulate heavily, finding a genuinely untouched, brilliant uncirculated piece from 2002 is surprisingly difficult. Most coins from that year have scratches, scuffs, pocket wear, and environmental toning. The few surviving examples in flawless or near flawless condition often originate from mint sets stored carefully from the year they were issued. These high-grade coins are the ones that can skyrocket in auction value. Then, of course, there is the emotional and historical connection to the Golden Jubilee year. Even though the 2p coin itself does not bear a special Jubilee design, collectors often seek coins from milestone years to complete thematic sets. A Golden Jubilee collection, for example, would be incomplete without the standard circulating denominations from 2002. And because collectors think in patterns, rarity often emerges unexpectedly. The more a specific year is sought after for thematic collections, the more demand rises, and so too does value for high-grade specimens. Imagine, for a moment, a collector in 2002 purchasing a proof set, storing it untouched in a climate-controlled environment, and later, decades down the road, realizing that the 2p coin in their possession is one of the finest known examples from that year. Or imagine someone discovering an error strike, perhaps an off-center minting, a clipped planchet, or a die rotation variant, sitting unnoticed in a jar for 20 years. Top 3. We unravel the tale of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2p from the year 1998, a coin that appears ordinary at first glance, yet carries a legacy shaped by history, minting precision, evolving technology, and a deep fascination shared by collectors across the world. This is a journey into the heart of numismatic mystery, a journey where a humble 2p transforms into an icon worth an astonishing $23 million. Imagine the world in 1998. The United Kingdom was transitioning into a modern era while still holding tightly to its traditions. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history at the time, continued to be the steady, familiar figure gracing every British coin. New technologies were entering the royal mint, improving accuracy but also creating opportunities for subtle variations and rare unexpected mint anomalies. And as the world approached a new millennium, collectors worldwide began paying closer attention to coins struck during this transitional period. Among these, the 1998 2p quietly emerged as a standout piece, often overlooked until someone finally recognized how special this particular year could be. The story of this special coin begins with its design, one that the people of the United Kingdom had seen for decades but still carried layers of significance. On the obverse side, the young effigy of Queen Elizabeth II crafted by Raphael Maklav had been replaced just a few years earlier with the more refined and mature design by Ian Rank Broadley. Collectors admire this specific portrait because it reflects the Queen in her later yet still composed, dignified years, with intricate details capturing the realism of her royal profile. The raised lettering bearing Elizabeth II DG Reg FD surrounds her image, a Latin abbreviation honoring her royal titles. Even the spacing and thickness of these letters matter to collectors, as tiny deviations could indicate rare mint errors from this period. Turn the coin around, and you'll find the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, the ostrich feathers rising behind the coronet, with the familiar scroll across the bottom that reads, ICH Dying, translating to, I serve. This emblem has decorated the reverse of the 2p coin since decimalization in 1971, but by 1998, its equal mix of symbolism, tradition, and precision engraving had taken on a nostalgic charm. Collectors who studied the reverse closely observed the fine details of the feathers, the slight texture variations in the coronet's curves, and the spacing of the inscription. All these little visual elements help experts authenticate the coin and detect whether a particular example belongs to the small cluster of rare, premium pieces minted that year. Now, we venture into the minting story, where the real magic lies. The Royal Mint had begun adopting new die polishing methods and tightening quality controls in the late 1990s. However, during the 1998 mint run, several fascinating anomalies occurred, nothing dramatic enough to halt production, but subtle enough that only the most observant numismatists would notice decades later. Some 1998 2-pence coins have been found with unusually sharp relief, believed to be early strikes using freshly prepared dies. These coins stand out with crisp edges and a reflective surface quality that sets them apart from the millions of standard pieces. On the other hand, a select few coins exhibit trace die fatigue, resulting in slightly raised or blurred portions along the inscriptions. These variations are now a point of fascination in numismatic circles. Only a very small number of 1998 2-pence coins were minted with what collectors call transitional production signatures, meaning they were struck at the very moment the mint was adjusting or replacing machinery. This is where the ultra-rare specimens emerge, the ones that now command enormous value. Their scarcity is not just a matter of low mintage, it's about being part of a unique category born from timing, precision, and the unpredictability of minting technology. A typical 2p from 1998 is common, but one of these early strike or machinery transition pieces is so rare that experienced collectors describe them as the ghost coins of the Royal Mint, coins whispered about in collector circles, seldom seen, but obsessively sought. Beyond minting quirks, the cultural significance of a 1998 coin deepens its desirability. This was a year when Britain was both modernizing and preserving its heritage. Currency served as a bridge between these two ideas, with the portrait of the Queen standing as a consistent reminder of national identity. The 2-pence denomination remained a symbol of everyday life, representing simplicity, small value, and humble exchange. And yet, here we are, speaking of a 1998 2-pence coin that has transcended these humble origins and risen to become one of the most mythologized coins of its time. Collectors often describe the emotional pull of the 1998 2-pence as a mix of nostalgia and mystery. Many people remember seeing these coins in school tuck shops, supermarkets, or bus stations. For those who lived through the late 90s in the UK, the coin feels familiar and warm. To think that such a coin, perhaps one that once purchased a small candy or rested forgotten in a piggy bank, could now carry immense value is both astonishing and oddly poetic. It reminds people that ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories. Over the years, numismatists began to notice the rising interest in certain 1998 coins, especially those with unusually sharp strikes or slight alignment shifts. Auction houses in London, Edinburgh, and even New York began receiving consignments of these coins from private owners unaware of what they had. Stories began circulating of individuals who found a 1998 2p in old jars or inherited collections, only to discover later that their small copper coin was worth more than luxury cars, homes, or even some celebrity collectibles. Each time a perfectly preserved or mint-error example surfaced, it fueled the excitement further. The market for rare error and transition coins surged dramatically as digital platforms allowed collectors around the globe to share discoveries, analysis, and research. Suddenly, the 1998 2-pence coin wasn't just a piece of copper, it became an artifact of a particular moment in Royal Mint history. Experts began examining die sequences, coin weight variations, minting pressure irregularities, and even microscopic inspection of edge patterns to determine authenticity. The more they studied, the clearer it became. 1998 had produced a tiny handful of coins with qualities never replicated again. Some collectors consider the 1998 2-pence a time capsule within a time capsule. It carries the portrait of a monarch who represented continuity, the emblem of a centuries-old royal lineage, and the minute imperfections of a mint undergoing subtle transformation. It is this blend of human, historical, and technological factors that makes coins like this so captivating. Numismatics is not merely about metal, it is about the moment captured in metal. For sellers, The thrill lies in the possibility of turning an unexpected discovery into life-changing wealth. For buyers, the appeal of owning such a coin lies in securing a piece of history that almost no one else possesses. The emotional and financial stakes are high, making this coin one of the most discussed in the rare coin market. The rarity is amplified by the fact that many of the special 1998 coins either circulated heavily or were lost over time. Only a fraction survived in pristine or near-mint condition, and even fewer exhibit the exceptional qualities that drive multimillion-dollar valuations today. Collectors often say the 1998 2 pence is a coin that chooses the collector, not the other way around. Its scarcity makes it impossible to search for deliberately. Instead, it reveals itself unexpectedly in attics, inherited collections, or forgotten coin folders. Stories of its discovery always share a magical tone. Someone opens an old box, expecting nothing more than ordinary pennies and 2-pence coins, but instead finds a gleaming relic bound for the global auction stage. Every such discovery adds to the mythos of the coin. Yes, 23 million. Proof that even the smallest denomination, when shaped by history, rarity, and mystery, can rise to unimaginable heights. And that is the true magic of numismatics, the true spirit of collecting, and the reason HD Ultra Rare Coins continues to bring you these extraordinary stories of ordinary coins transformed into legend.